But to be here and to be performing with the Cincinnati Chamber Orchestra as part of summer music is a huge honor, as I was talking to some of you about how the cuatro, which, parentheses, for those of you that don't know, the cuatro is the national instrument of Puerto Rico, and it takes its name from the original amount of strings that this instrument had when it was first developed. It's an instrument from the countryside, la música campesina de Puerto Rico. We call it música jíbara. And this folk guitar that was developed by the jíbaros, by the people from the countryside, has become the national instrument and has become such a big part of our identity in Puerto Rico. Similar to the Cuban tres, or the tiple in Colombia, or the cuatro in Venezuela, the guitarrón in Chile, la jarana in Mexico, all these different string instruments that have sort of the same root, right? The concept of plucking a string and singing your sorrows and thinking about your daily lives, right? And to be able to grow learning traditional music and learning aguinaldos, as we call our some of the songs, and then have the huge blessing to come to the US, to Boston, to study at Berklee with my cuatro, which is, I still sometimes I think about it, I'm like, eso pasó, no lo puedo creer. Because you grow up, you know that you can dream big. Y yo estoy segura que ustedes se identifican con esto. We all have big dreams. But sometimes you look at everything around you and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be realistic. And sometimes being realistic is like we cut ourselves short. And I feel like I grew up thinking, being realistic and cutting myself short. You know, I play traditional music, so what I'm gonna do is play las fiestas navideñas, maybe do festivals in Puerto Rico, maybe do stuff outside of Puerto Rico, but only with Puerto Rican communities, because they're the only ones that know what the cuatro is. And then my parents, both of them, Migdalia Quiñones y José Méndez, from Caguas, Puerto Rico, they are the reason. ¿Tú eres de Caguas?
No,
bueno. Él es boricua adoptado. They taught me how to dream, and they gave me more than I could have ever asked for. First of all, life, right? And everything to survive and to grow, but also my parents always believed in me in ways that I did not believe in myself. And as a cuatro player and as a young cuatrista, that I had this vision, I want to play cuatro and I want to do this for a living. Instead of them saying, te vas a morir de hambre. Which happens to a lot of people when they grow up, when they want to pursue arts. It's like, how are you going to live? How are you going to survive? But my parents never said that. They were like, vamos para allá. And I remember one day my dad brought a brochure from Berklee. He said, do you know about this university, Berklee College of Music? Yo no sé. And I went on the website and I'm like, oh my God, a music university, and they have people from all over the world. And it turns out that Berklee comes to Puerto Rico every year and they do workshops for the music students. So my dad was like, Fabi, vamos para allá, vamos a apuntarte en las clases. And then I got to audition, and then I was blessed with a scholarship. And even though the cuatro is not an instrument that they teach at the school, because it's not like it's not a guitar, piano, bass, they're super open-minded. And the fact that I had been playing cuatro since I started playing when I was 6 years old, so I already knew my way around the fretboard. If you tell me C major, which is a musical scale, I knew how to do that on my instrument, even if they don't know what that looks like on the cuatro. So they're like, instruments are instruments. It doesn't matter that we don't have a cuatro teacher at Berklee. we'll see how we can adapt, and we'll have you study with guitar players, which is the closest instrument to the cuatro. And that opened my mind to so many possibilities. Now, not only traditional music, now I was challenged to play jazz, and to play Brazilian music, and to learn and to play Turkish and Irish music and Middle Eastern music. And suddenly I was able to see how the cuatro was not just Puerto Rico. The cuatro was the jarana, the guitarrón chileno, the cuatro venezolano, the tiple, all these different instruments that we have throughout the world that represent who we are. Long story short, I'm here now and I'm gonna perform with a symphony orchestra, and it's beautiful. It challenges me in different ways, right? Because I'm used to playing with guitar, percussion, improvising, and being like, ¿en qué tono ando mayor? Traigo esta trulla para que te levante, hueva. And now suddenly it's like, I'm working on a piece that's gonna be played with the orchestra. I have to stick to what's written on the music. We're gonna do dynamics, when you play strong, when you play softer. Following the conductor, tomorrow we're gonna have our first rehearsal. So I've been working on the piece on my own without knowing anything that the orchestra is gonna play, because I haven't heard the like this. There's no recording of this piece, at least not that I found, with the orchestra. So I know what I'm gonna play, but I don't know what they're gonna play. So tomorrow is gonna be our first time merging everything together and hearing. I'm sure it's gonna be magical. And then that's what we're gonna present on Saturday at the School for Performing and Creative Arts, right? And then on Sunday, I'm gonna be with Sonia Morales Matos and Del Caribe, and we're gonna do a little bit of both. So we'll have a string quartet from the orchestra, some of the players, and we're gonna do Puerto Rican classics, and then we're also gonna do some tunes with Son del Caribe, and vamos a bailar un poquito. So, a las órdenes siempre. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to connect with so many of you que no son de Puerto Rico, pero que yo sé que tenemos ese orgullo latino que no nos lo quita nadie. Así que gracias, un placer.